Oh, and it was disappointing too because I felt like Jamie Lee Curtis, this was not her best performance. She kind of came across as...
Yeah, and it doesn't help that they didn't give her anything to do. And I said in the review, like, I get that it's realistic. I don't want her to just be like, oh, I'm gonna hop up and start, like, fine, be realistic about the fact that she's wounded. But
right.
It's like you really have to do outside of being stuck there.
Right. So maybe that's why they took this movie to such dumb places. They couldn't think of an entertaining way to, I don't know. I just see he was on, I think it was the Joe Bob Briggs show. The director was on The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. It's like a show on Shudder. He used to have a show way back when in the 90s and stuff. It's like basically watching horror movies and talking about them and throwing out all this trivia. So David Gordon Green was on there, and Joe Bob asked him specifically, like, if he was human, and he confirmed, oh, he's human. And then here comes kills, and it's like, oh, really? Well, you could have fooled me because he does not act like somebody who's supposed to be human in here. I'm afraid you're venturing into stupid territory.
Yeah.
I felt so, I don't know, you just never know it was done by the same team. It just doesn't even feel like it at all.
I think I even said that myself. I'm like, are you sure you didn't switch out somebody on the crew?
Yeah.
Something like, because it feels like a completely different film.
Yeah, it did. It absolutely did. I don't know what the heck happened.
And it's interesting because then watching the teaser for Ends, it seems more in the vibe of 2018. So
that's what I was thinking with the teaser.
Yeah.
Now, how many people can just go walking down into a morgue like this, for one thing? Yeah, I mean, she just walks right in. And then her daughter just walks by and sees all these dead bodies. Like, they don't have a morgue right there on the main hallway of a hospital with windows.
That's what I didn't understand either. I don't think that's how this works.
It doesn't. That was going to nitpick this movie to death.
You earned the right. You sat through it the first time. So.
I watched it at least 3 times, D.
Really?
Yes, I saw it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Then we were going to do our little live stream chat. So I watched it again in preparation.
Right.
And then I took my son to see it.
Oh,
so I've seen it 3 times. Oh, and you know what? This is funny. So the film I've seen the most in theaters so far has been Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so before that, I've seen it 5 times. And I could see it again and again. I love that movie so much.
Yeah. Top Gun was such a
the cinematography.
Had you seen the original Top Gun?
Yes, and I'm not crazy about it.
Right. And that's the thing. It's kind of like not to say that its success was limited because it's a classic to a lot of people, but it's like you have something that you could argue the as a franchise and making a sequel 30 years later, of all the ones to try to attach that to, that would be an unlikely one.
Yes.
And then, I remember seeing the trailers even before, the pandemic and all that stuff. And I was like, And then
me too. Yeah.
Right. And they kept showing, and I just really, and so finally I was like, well, I'll just check it out just to see. I hadn't heard anything about it or anything like that yet. I watched it and I was so shocked, so blown away.
Blown away.
It's just like there are certain films or sequels or, sequels definitely, because it's already hard enough to get a sequel that's halfway decent. But let alone one that's like 30 years after the fact, and just how they really took everything, like they really took it to the next level. I don't even know what to even say about it.
No, I know. It's just, I only decided to go see it for the channel. Right. I wasn't super interested. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, well, all right. I'll go. And I was like, holy crap, this movie is so good. And it surprised the heck out of me because, like I said, I'm not crazy about the first one.
Right.
It feels just kind of meh. Right. I am not at all that into it. And so anyway, so I've seen that movie the most. Before that, the movie I'd seen on the big screen the most was Halloween 2018. No, okay. I'd seen it 4.5 times.
Right.
Okay. It's like, how could you see it? Right. It really was half. This is what happened. I thought Arturo was supposed to get off at a certain time, and I showed up an hour ahead of time.
Oh.
I got the times wrong. And so one of the managers said, you can go watch a movie if you want. I didn't have to. You can just go slip in there and go watch a movie. And so I happened to choose Halloween 2018. So I came in right around the halfway mark.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay, I've seen that 4.5 times, but now I'm going to go see it again. So now it's going to beat out Top Gun.
Exactly.
Then I need to go see Top Gun again so we can beat out Halloween.
Exactly.
Oh, I swear. Oh, this scene.
Oh, you already know.
I know. You know, I didn't remember at the time that she was the lady from the graveyard in 2018.
I think I probably forgot that too.
Yeah, I had completely.
Fuck you up. How about you and I snatching some cheese and
Some people laugh during these parts, you know, because that was a little funny.
Somebody in there?
But the way these kills were handled, I just... Jeez. Though I did like certain parts of it, like when she's lying there injured and he's stabbing her on the table. I mean, stabbing the guy on the table. The way that was filmed, the way that was shot, I really liked that.
Right.
But how they got to that part was just so freaking...
Oh, I don't have words on it.
Does she not know how to unlock a lock? Just open the door. Just all you gotta do. Just open the door. You're out of there. You're safe. No, she's just like, ah! Standing there waiting for him. What?
Close my door.
Oh. Okay, so she had enough sense to run. She gets it all unlocked. And then she just stands there and cowers against the door.
It makes 0 sense.
Like, seriously, come on.
The door is open.
Right there. What are you doing? And he takes his time, too. Look, he's like, grab this. This will be my weapon of choice. And then also that injury, she should not even be still alive watching him pincushion her husband. She should have been dead like pretty quickly.
Yeah, once something goes through here, it's pretty much game over.
Major artery, and it doesn't take long. But she's still alive while he goes and he gets the husband, throws him up on the table, and he's still alive too. And all that blood.
That's what I'm saying. That's
he
like
wouldn't be. Oh my gosh.
I definitely wouldn't have the energy to yell at that point, so I'm a little to scream or whatever.
Yeah, he would be choking on his blood. That's what's so frustrating about this movie is the parts that are positives.
Right.
You know, I do like this is eerie. Like it's not in full focus.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like standing there looking at it, you know, and he just, let me try this one. Let's see what this does. It just...
Yeah, like he's gauging like, okay, how well does this one go through the body?
Yeah, right? Exactly. And the way he's moving, like just his upper body, just the way he... Oh, what a wasted opportunity.
You know what I'm saying? Like, did they want us to root for these? I mean, it's hard. I mean, not that we're super rooting for people who are dying. I mean, these folks are here to be killed anyway. But it's just like, can we not at least have like, I don't know, maybe it's too much to ask for realism in horror films, but I just don't know anyone.
No, I don't think it's too much to ask. That's what makes it more effective if it's more realistic. You know, do you want camp and ridiculousness, or do you want something that's actually legitimately scary?
Right.
It was ridiculous to the point that it wasn't as scary as, like, let's say 2018 or the original.
Almost like they wanted us to laugh at the fact that these characters are so dumb.
Right? And I get that movies, like appreciation for movies is entirely subjective, but I really have to call into question the legitimacy of some people's opinions when it's like, it's the best Halloween movie ever, even better than the original. No. What are you watching?
Yeah, my issue with that is that a lot of times that's just based on a specific thing. For some people, it's like, oh, you know, the kills. And so in comparison, I guess to them, the first Halloween seems boring, but that's not what the point of the first Halloween was. And a lot of those older films, everything was very story-based, even if we are talking about horror. So even with like the first, because I understand Jason has kind of, you know, that's become a running joke with that franchise, but the original story and the whole, you know, teens and the camp and Jason's mother and like there was a very specific story and how that comes about. So.
Yes, exactly. No, that's true. I was glad to see this guy back, but I couldn't help but notice that he's gained quite a bit of weight in just a day.
Oh, really? See, I have to watch 228. I'm gonna watch 228.
He's a bit slimmer. In the other one, I was like, well, he's got a little bit heavier than he did one day ago.
Too much Halloween candy. Too much Halloween candy. That's what it is.
That's what it was.
Was that like a human jack-o'-lantern in the car?
Okay, remember this is from the from 2018 when he took that guy's face. Remember the cops? He killed the cops.
Yeah.
And he took one of their faces and put like a candle or a light inside, a flashlight. He stuck it on the other cop's hand or put it in his lap with the flashlight shining through. Right. So it was the cop's face.
Yeah, I figured it was from that, but like I said, clearly I need to rewatch.
Yeah, you should.
But the specifics of it after.
I remember him from 40 years ago.
Bob Odenkirk. That was Bob Odenkirk. Because they couldn't find the original actor to get a picture of him. Like, you know. You remember? I think we talked about that during one of the.
Actually do remember.
This was a safe place, and now it's not anymore.
It was. Sorry? A safe place when?
Right?
40 years ago? Like.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that this version is the extended version.
Oh,
there's like 4 extra minutes or something. And I've never seen the extended version, but I have it. So it's like, well, this would be the good, probably a good one to.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'll notice what scenes are new.
That's what I was wondering too. We might not even see.
So far, it looks all the same, unless maybe there's like some parts where it's like an extra few seconds shown of something. I don't know.
Yes, sir. Love lives today.
But evil dies tonight.
Oh, jeez. That's so lame.
He's right there.
And I didn't realize that the Love Lives Today was the.
Oh yeah, right. That.
I totally
counter there.
I must have missed that the first time.
I don't think I got it until maybe the second time I saw it, either.
So they looked at the tip jar and say like,
"Love lives today.
Love lives today. Evil
dies tonight." Okay. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I can't.
That might make it even worse.
Right. Like, yeah, you go on. You go on. Exactly. They're all like, yeah, you go. Yeah, what the hell is going on?
I guess the implication is that he didn't know how to drive, because my first instinct was not to drive.
What do you mean by that? Say that again? About him driving?
I was saying, like, I guess the implication is that he doesn't know how to drive, because if I'm trying to escape from someplace, my first instinct would not be to drive into a pole or a wall.
Right.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I thought it was interesting that we got an HGTV revamp, refurbishment of the original house.
Of the house? Yeah, I know, right? I don't remember if I knew that it was the original house. Don't they talk about that in this? Do they talk about that at all in this scene?
They mentioned it, because I remember them about it. Yeah.
That's right. There's that banister, the stairway. I didn't realize that this was Stu from Mad TV.
Right.
The first time I saw it, I did not know it was him. I was like, this guy looks so familiar. Who is he?
Right. Yeah, see, that's what threw me off, because I was like, I didn't know the other guy, but I was like, immediately, as soon as I saw him, I was like,
Halloween.
Like, what's going on?
Feels like he should break into Stu character at any moment.
Right. And then, like I had mentioned in the review, like the other guy was in, like, I want to say he's maybe done sketch comedy or like comedy stuff. Like he's like a comedian too. So it's like,
is he? Okay. See, I don't recognize who he is. Like
yeah, I had to look him up like afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Like, do you remember? Yes, I do.
It's in the barf. It is a Big John.
Big John and Little John. Oh my gosh.
Whose house this was? He stabbed his sister in the tits. There's.
What?
Don't worry, folks. This is where Laurie's going to be the entire film.
I know, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. This is not accurate
at all. I've never even been in one, and I can tell you it's not accurate.
It's also not accurate that they would be wheeling that cop down a regular hallway either.
Right.
He would be taken into the emergency room and then taken to somewhere else.
Yes.
Not wheeling. He wouldn't. She's very calm, cool, and collected for someone whose husband got murdered.
Right.
I mean, I guess you could make the argument that she's kind of still in shock and processing it, but people had pointed out how she didn't seem to have proper sort of grieving for someone that this had just happened to.
Right.
And I can see that. He wasn't shot in the face. Thought he was shot grazed.
Right.
His face or his neck. When I think of people being shot in the face, I'm thinking full on, like right here, not like the cheek or, side of the neck. She's also pretty calm, cool, and collected for someone who just lost a father.
Right. Not doing too well with the emotional nuances here.
And she was probably the one that did the best as far as the acting, I felt like.
Oh, yeah.
But some parts of this are just so hokey when he's trying to rile the crowd up.
That's what I'm saying. Even before we got to The Evil Dies Tonight, there are ways of I guess trying to have people, their dialogue or whatever was like. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just the material, because I just don't feel like Anthony Michael Hall did a great job in here. Same with Jamie Lee Curtis, and I know they're fine actors. They're okay, but this just did not feel like their best performance. And maybe it's the material, maybe it's just them, maybe it was a little bit of both.
Right. Because it's like sometimes you have actors that can overcome bad material, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
Good material can elevate a not so great actor.
Yeah.
But in this case, it might have been the former. Didn't seem to do much for any of them.
Nope.
Trying to play hide and seek with us, and
Wait, he killed their friend, right? It's their friend's mask he has.
Oh,
so he does kill kids. In here, he did.
Yeah. See,
maybe there's like this age threshold. Maybe Lonnie was too young. Maybe once they turn like 13 or 14, then they're up for grabs. Terrible shots, and he's right there too. Like he's right. Like there's no reason they should have missed. Now I like some of the stuff here, like how she goes and she puts the stuff in the bag, but it's like you're wasting your bullets. He's right on.
And she locks the door after she shoots out the window.
Right?
He'll never get in.
So dumb. He's not even there. She's like shooting it, just nothing. He's not even showing up there. And then the girl that climbed out, she's right there. There's this big gun. But she was like, next time you see her, she's like far off somewhere trying to shoot.
And she just lets him kill her like she can't get out the other door. Ooh.
I know. Ooh, I know. That was nasty. Oh!
Ooh, I would say eye stuff for me is the worst. I can't do stuff. That's a lot of it is bad, but the eye stuff. Ooh.
See, now she's far away.
How'd she get over there?
She had this gun while he's standing outside. She could have just shot him right from behind. Now that was fun. Okay, I laughed when she shot herself.
I did too. And there's no way they weren't being funny with that. Like, come on now. I know you did not expect us to take that serious.
I was thinking, this is not supposed to be a funny moment, but I'm laughing because this was so stupid. The only thing that saves her here is she pulls his mask off, right? Yeah. Oh, she almost pulls his mask off. This scene where she's running away from him and she successfully hides and he never finds her. This is like this sort of thing that happens in my nightmares. I'm trying to hide from him the whole time. And so when I was watching this, that's what I was thinking about. Like he's always this presence and I'm hiding.
Right.
And I know I'm not safe because he's out there somewhere. So the whole dream is like nightmare, just me hiding. Or trying to evade him or trying to run. And you can never run fast enough in a dream.
Right. Weren't you playing that game that's like that time?
Dead by Daylight.
Oh wow.
I was trying to play the game. I was doing a terrible job at it. That mask, the breathing. That is so creepy to me. Because when I first saw Halloween, my back was to the screen the whole time, practically.
Oh.
Have I ever told you that story?
No.
Oh gosh, bless it. I didn't have a TV when I was a kid. So anything I saw was it made a huge impression on me. So my mom was working, she was like a caretaker for an elderly lady. And the house where the lady lived was in the not best part of town. And it was really old and creaky and had like bats in the attic, that type of creepy.
Yeah.
And so my dad would go over and stay with her when she was on night shift. And he brought me along this one time. I mean, I would come along at different times, but they happened to be playing the first Halloween. I think it was put on the TV because the second Halloween was about ready to come out or something like that. Or maybe not. Maybe it was just they played it on TV. And this bad stuff starts happening. So instead of changing the channel with this young child watching, you know what they did? So just turn around, don't watch. But I could hear everything that was happening.
Exactly. So that's even worse. It's kind of...
I could hear the breathing.
Right.
And the screaming when there was screaming and the music. And then there's like, oh, okay, he's dead now. You can turn around. Well, I turned around. He was not dead. He came back up again. And I have been haunted by Michael Myers ever since. Like literally, he really does still scare me. I'll go outside late at night. And if I think about Michael Myers, I get this weird, like, oh, he might be back there. It's just so... So the breathing really gets me.
Yeah, see, what makes that worse is by you turning around, so much of your imagination, like you were left up to your own, like, imagination blanks, and then you end up seeing it after, So yeah, so much of that kind of started there, I'm sure.
So yeah, I blame my folks. I never let them forget it. I remind them about it often. They're sorry for it now, but they didn't realize how much it was going to scar me.
Exactly.
Like, what do you think is going to happen to a child that never grew up with a TV and she sees stuff? It's going to be extremely, for her.
And that's the thing, we're desensitized to a lot of that stuff now, but that's totally back in the day.
Well, my daughter definitely is. When she saw it for the first time, she's like, it's boring. Okay. All right, Aurelia.
Right.
But Javier, her boyfriend, he's going to go see the original with me tomorrow because he's never seen it.
Oh, cool.
So he's going to go see it. Arturo's going to go see it because he's never seen it on the big screen.
Oh.
But they both are bowing out of the 2018. So I'll just be by my lonesome watching 2018. It's okay.
Actually, yeah, I caught the original. It was with my best friend and one of my newer friends, and then my mom. We all saw 1978. They had a flashback. Cool. So it was like some years back. But yeah, we really enjoyed it.
The very, very, very first time I saw it on the big screen was not a great experience because the picture was real small. Like, it was small and the audio was terrible. So then when they brought it back again and I went again, I thought it was going to be the same thing. And it wasn't. Fortunately, it was bigger, looked better, the sound was better. So I don't know what happened that first time, but they've improved it since then.
This is on homage too, right?
Is it too? Yes. Halloween 3.
Yeah.
With the masks. I didn't catch that the first time. I had completely forgotten about those masks. And then I did go to see Halloween 3 on the big screen, I think earlier this year or sometime last year. Okay. It's actually a pretty solid film.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
I haven't had the chance to see it because for a long time, I had heard like so much about like, oh, it's the worst. People the fact that it has nothing to do with Mike Myers, that doesn't mean in and of itself it's a bad film.
It's not the worst. It's probably, I don't really count it in the, it's part of the franchise, but I don't count it. But it's a decent horror film.
This was one of the few scenes I remember saying was actually decent.
Was actually decent, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get past the fact that this actor reminds me of George W. Bush. I just can't. Like, that's all I see when I see him. I see George W.
That is actually funny.
Doesn't he look like him?
He kind of has the aesthetic.
I mean, with not as much hair, but it looks like him.
Yeah, he has that look, definitely. Which is funny because I've seen him in so much, but I definitely see that.
It didn't occur to me. I think the first time I paid attention to him was in the 2018 movie, but I have seen him before.
Right.
But in that movie, that was when it really struck me. Wow, he looks a lot like George W. They should have got this guy to play him instead of Josh Brolin.
Oh, W, right.
Yeah. Ben Tramer.
We got him. We killed Michael.
Hmm.
Oh, it's about time.
I remember that part made people laugh. It's about time, right?
And I guess that works for me because it's something about having known each other for so long and being at that point in life at that age and kind of reminiscing stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff works for me.
And I like how they tied back to, Ben Tramer that she had a crush on in the first movie that you only hear about. Then you I think it was Ben Tramer that got killed in the second movie. He was the one walking down the street wearing, of all the things, the same mask. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
There will be no pause. There will be no empathy. This ends when Michael is dead. Michael Meyers will be executed tonight. He will not go without witness.
Oh God, please. No. Mob fervor can be sufficiently scary, because they can just get out of hand, but it was just so clunky in here.
Exactly.
Oh, and this guy. Oh, I cringed. I got chills. Like, it was so bad. You know how when something's so bad, you get like chills because it's so bad? That's what happened the first time I saw it. It was just like, it was just so cringy that my skin was cringing.
Right.
Oh, they brought him back just for that.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
why did you waste this man's time?
Right? Oh, yeah.
We always fight.
Oh, gosh. Oh, so cringe. I'm just going to pretend this movie never happened, D. While we're sitting here watching it.
Didn't realize it was that easy.
He can die as if I die too.
This right there.
That's what they kept playing. Yeah.
I also didn't like how sort of egocentric she kind of the darkness eye created. She didn't create that darkness. She acts like she's like the central. I mean, she kind of is the central because she's the one that got away. But I don't know how much of Michael, since she's not his sister in this storyline, did he really track her down? I don't know about that because in 2018, it wasn't like he was actively searching for her.
No, it's the doctor.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and I think what you said again comes down to the writing. Like, why are we writing that she created the darkness if she's not his sister and there's no link or anything?
Right. It was just they were brought together by this external force. It wasn't Michael finding where she lived. Like Karen made it sound like, well, Michael, he found out where, like he was searching for her. He wasn't. Right. He just came back home and the doctor, made this stuff happen by breaking him out of the bus. Did you hear the theory that it was Laurie that had made the bus wreck so Michael could get loose?
No.
Yes, that's a theory that's been going around for a while, and that makes no sense. Like, none at all.
I'm very confused about that.
Because, she would not put people in harm's way, and she knows if he's loose, he's going to kill innocent people. So that theory, it makes no sense to me. I don't even know why it exists, but it does exist.
Well, there's another potential option for Halloween Ends. We find all this was a scheme set up by Laurie.
If they do that, come on. Now, that will piss me off if they do that. Because that just makes no logical sense at all.
Well,